Hello, beautiful yogis. It's Kat from Wild Spirit Yoga here. We've just moved into the new month of August, which means that it's time for a new theme. And I thought that we would do a little bit of a follow on from last month's theme. I don't know about you guys, but I had an awesome time exploring and learning about sthira and sukha and ways to find that steadiness and ease within our practice on and off the mat. And I loved it so much that I thought that we would do a little bit of a follow on this month. So I thought that we would spend our time exploring and learning how to recognize and respect our body's limits. And I don't want the word limit to be seen in a negative light here, because limits can be challenged and they can be explored and extended through practice and patience and having respect for ourselves and our bodies. And I know that so many of us, myself definitely included here, have experienced injury of some kind as a result of choosing not to listen to the signals that our body is giving us. And I have so many examples, but I will just stick to one. Many years ago, when I used to live in Sydney, I was going to the gym and I was doing weights, and I sort of hadn't bothered to really ask for anyone's help or even really do a lot of research. I just sort of went in head first and just started doing weights, thinking that I knew best kind of thing. And I started to get a pain in my shoulder, and the pain gradually got worse day by day, and I wasn't slowing down. I wasn't listening to my body, and I was pushing myself, and I was continuing to do the weights even though this pain was getting worse. And over the course of a few weeks, it might have even been a couple of months, it was a fairly long time. Over the course of this time, the pain did get worse and worse to the point where I couldn't actually lift my arm. Now, it turns out that I'd done damage to my supraspinatus muscle in here. And as a result of that, I couldn't lift my arm. The pain was just so severe. It even hindered my sleep. Every day was just becoming a struggle. And all of this was as a result of me, stubborn old me, choosing not to respect my body and its limits. And of course, the recovery took so much longer than it took to actually get the injury, which happened like that. This was a really life-changing experience for me. I will admit that in subsequent years, I did continue to be stubborn and not listen to my body, and I experienced, further injuries. But I always remembered this very first time when I really did sort of do damage to myself as a result of not having that level of respect for my body, myself, and my own personal limits. So it definitely was a learning experience for me. And I know that, so many of us have had similar experiences. But what I really want to do this month is spend some time with ourselves, really getting to know ourselves and really, building a connection back with our bodies again, because so many of us are really quite disconnected from our bodies. We sort of live outside of our bodies. And as a result of this, we don't really have a level of respect for our bodies. We don't choose to listen to our bodies. We don't, really give much care or thought to what is actually happening within our body. So I want us to, honestly ask ourselves and honestly answer if we have a connection with our body. And, do we take the time to listen to our bodies and respond accordingly? And if something is causing us pain or discomfort, do we listen and pull back? And release ourselves from that pain or discomfort? Or do we, continue to just push and push and push? So a few weeks ago, I was reading this awesome book called The Chakras Made Easy by Anodea Judith. And there was one paragraph that I came across in this book that just, screamed out to me. And I really want to read it for you guys now, because it really sort of sums up what I'm hoping that we can really learn this month and achieve through exploring our limits this month. So she goes on to say, our body is the vehicle we've been given to take the journey through life. We only get one per lifetime, so it is important to care for it well. It's the only thing we know we will have for the rest of our life. Far from being a place where we are trapped in physicality, it is the most exquisite vehicle. One that can take us anywhere we want to go with full sensory involvement. The mind may rationalize and believe things that aren't true, but the body never lies. It contains a grain of truth that is undeniable. Wow, thanks, Anade. That just, I don't know about you guys, but that just really speaks to me. So I really want also to remind everyone as well that every day is different and we feel different every day. You know, one day we might be able to settle down into a particular asana and it feels great. And then the next day we might not even be able to contemplate that asana. And I know I've definitely had days like that. And I want to remind everyone that, you know, everybody's yoga journey is completely different and completely individual to, you know, that person. And you might be in a group class and you look over to your neighbor and they're doing wheel. And you might be only able to, at that point, you know, in your day or your journey, to do bridge. And that's perfectly okay. It doesn't mean that you're any less. It doesn't mean that you're not doing yoga. It just means that you're at different points in your journey. And that's okay because, you know, remember that we all start down the bottom and we all work our way up, and we all work our way up at our own pace. And this is one of the things that I love about yoga, is that it really does teach us to respect our body and explore our limits. And, you know, this little excerpt that I just read is a great reminder that, you know, our body is the only one that we will ever get, and that it's so important to take care of it. Our body houses literally everything that keeps us alive. And so why wouldn't we want to treat it in the best way that we can to keep ourselves healthy, to keep ourselves, you know, able to move along on this journey with our health and our happiness. One of my favorite things to say to my students during class is that during our asana practice, we want to challenge ourselves. You know, we do. We want to challenge ourselves. We want to explore our limits. We want to find our edge, but we don't want to jump off. We want to challenge ourselves, but we don't want to push ourselves past our limits, because then we are inviting injury into our lives and we're inviting regression into our lives as well. We grow the most when we take a step back and we listen to ourselves and we take time to really feel into our body, really listen to our feelings and our emotions and what our muscles and what our bones are telling us, and, you know, what everything is telling us. And when we have patience and kindness with ourselves, and, you know, when we give ourselves the space with that patience and with that kindness, it really allows us to move forward and grow further and faster. And another thing that I really love as well with yoga, and I say this all the time too, is that everything that we go through on the mat, all of the feelings, the emotions, everything that we're processing, all of our reactions to what, you know, we're doing on the mat, can be directly translated to off the mat. So while we're going to spend this month learning to recognize and respect our body's limits, we can also apply all of the same principles to sort of regular everyday life situations as well. We can also take the time to learn to recognize and respect our personal limits off the mat as well, whether they be at work or within our friendships or our family relationships, or even with ourselves. You know, that's the big one there, is really learning to listen to ourselves and respect ourselves. So, yeah, I really want us to spend this month exploring ways to begin a dialogue with our bodies and to begin to break down some of those walls that we may have built and to connect back with our bodies, and to really, take this as an opportunity to grow and move along in our journey, whether it be our yoga journey or our life journey or both. So I'm super excited about exploring this new theme with all of you this month. I would really love to hear your thoughts on it, some of the experiences that you may have had as well, whether it be a shoulder injury in the gym or, personal experiences on the mat or, anything that can sort of help others, help me and help yourself. I'd love to hear all about them. And as usual, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to contact me. I'll try my best to help out wherever I can. And don't forget, guys, that I've started up that new little Facebook group, which is connected to my Facebook business page. It's called The Wild Spirits. And I'm actually spending most of my time in there now and interacting with most of you within that group now rather than on the page. So I'd love for you to join and connect and share. And it would just be great to connect with you all in there. So I hope that you all have a wonderful month ahead. I hope you've got lots of adventures planned, and I really hope that you get to spend some time on the mat, spending some time with yourselves and your body, and really taking the time to listen and to give yourself some love, some extra special care and some love this month. So that's it from me for now, guys. Stay amazing, everyone. Keep smiling. I love you all. Namaste.